Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Allie and I'm here to do another tarot tag. This time it is hashtag August Revelations, created by Empathic Tarot, and this exercise was super fun to do. I have tarot cards literally spread out everywhere. It is going to take me a while to clean it all up. So what this tarot tag is we had to go through all of our tarot, pardon me, and oracle decks and look for cards that fit the descriptions or answers to the questions. So there's 11 questions that we had to answer about our opinions of these tarot cards. So first question, and this one was kind of tough, was my doppelganger, my tarot doppelganger. So show us a character that resembles my physical appearance. And I hunted and hunted, and I ended up settling on Freedom, the Freedom card from the Steampunk Oracle. I don't know, what do you guys think? She kind of has a similar nose and face shape to me, and the blue eyes. Her eyes are much bluer than mine are, but I don't know. I had my husband's stamp of approval before I settled on this one. So there's my tarot doppelganger. Question number 2, my soul twin. So which character reflects my inner self the best? This was another really tough one, but I ended up settling on Fairies of the Future. So this is from the Fairies Oracle. Illustrated by Brian Froud. I felt like it was my inner soul twin because, well, it's surrounded by fairies, and people tell me all the time that I am surrounded by fairies. They're facing the future, and I'm always looking forward. I rarely look back. You're not going that way, so why look back and just stay focused on what's to come and create the future. So Fairies of the Future. Okay, question number 3. Who is your tarot crush? Who are you drawn to? Which character would you go on a date with? And again, this one was tough, and I realized because I have a lot of very feminine decks that don't have a lot of really masculine characters, I ended up choosing the 6 of Earth from the Dreams of Gaia tarot. Because he looks pretty handsome, he's looking pretty fit and attractive, and he's got this bowl of fruit that he's always like, hey girl, how about some fruit? Yeah, he's pretty rugged, he looks pretty generous, he also looks pretty devoted, that, you know, he's willing to kind of tie himself down. He almost has this like devoted slave thing going on, even though he's wearing the key to his own shackles. But anyway, yeah, I thought he was pretty attractive, and yeah, I'd date that. Okay, question number 4, your spirit guide. Who would you love to meet and get to know all they know? Who would you choose as your spirit guide? The first is the Queen of Swords from the Shadowscapes deck. And I just love, this is one of my favorite images from this deck. I just absolutely am in love with this picture, and I've always aspired to be more like the Queen of Swords. I just love her wit and her intelligence and her ability to observe and take in information, and her ability to communicate and articulate that information. I've never been an articulate person. Words are not my friends, and so I've always been a bit envious. So yes, I would love to have her knowledge, and this is my favorite image of the Queen of Swords. I also picked the Crone from the Dreams of Gaia. She has made different choices than I think I would make on the road of life, and so to hear her perspective and her knowledge and her insight and her wisdom would be a valuable asset, I think. I also chose the Scribe from the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck because he is the keeper of knowledge, has all the records, knows all the history of everything everywhere, And so to be able to access that would be amazing. And lastly, I picked the star from the Steampunk Tarot. But I love, love, love this version of the star. This is my favorite star card, and I'm an Aquarius, so this is my like matron card. The star, and this is my favorite version of the star, and I love her. It almost looks like, what I love about it is a trick of the eye, because the sconce or whatever it is that she's sitting on in the background looks like she has like a unicorn horn coming out of her head, but it's actually just where she's sitting against the backdrop. You know, if I was ever gonna do a tarot deck, I would probably have a figure with a unicorn horn, because the unicorn horn represents purification, so kind of detoxifying all of the bad energy that the star kind of cleanses and restores. So I love that. I love kind of imagining her with an actual unicorn horn. And the other thing I noticed while I was choosing these cards was that these two, the Scribe and the Queen of Swords, both have the Sacred Ibis in them. And so there you see the two Sacred Ibises at the bottom, and then here, I don't know if you could see it, but on the Queen of Swords hat or on her shoulder is another Sacred Ibis. And the Sacred Ibis is, if you look at a traditional kind of Rider-Waite-Smith star card, there is the Ibis in the background, and I just thought how kind of cool and coincidental was that. I didn't actually plan for that. I just happened to notice as I was looking at them all. And the ibis was the symbolic bird for the god, Egyptian god Thoth, to represent knowledge, wisdom, intellect, reason, memories, thought, ideas, writing, communication, all those things. So interesting, because the star, as I said, is my ruling card as an Aquarius, and the Sacred Ibis showed up in two other cards coincidentally, so that's kind of neat. Question number 5, spooky cards. Which character spooks you the most and you definitely avoid bumping into? Yeah, I have kind of a few super creepy cards that I cringe every time I see them. And I almost feel bad about this one. This is the crone from the Heart of Fairy Oracle. She looks kind of ugly and formidable on purpose. Like, that is her test. So every time I see her, I almost think of the intro to Beauty and the Beast. You know, when the crone knocks on the prince's door and he's too superficial to acknowledge her and kicks her out, and then she curses him and turns him into a beast for his arrogance and unkindness. She can reveal herself as this ugly hag or as a beautiful maiden, and she tests your kindness. So I feel a little bit guilty being creeped out by her, but she does kind of creep me out. And similarly, same artist, Brian Froud, illustrated the Fairies Oracle, and this is the Soul Shrinker. And he just looks menacing and like a big bully, and like he just tries to intimidate you and make you feel insignificant and unloved, and I don't like seeing this card. And this is the card Knight of Swords from the DC Justice League Tarot, and here we have Guy Gardner under the influence of the Red Lantern, and there he is kind of drooling all the fiery lava that's running through his veins, and it's just kind of a gruesome image, and yeah, it's kind of off-putting and I don't like it. And then I chose this whole deck almost creeps me out, and I'm thinking I just might, I don't know, maybe trade it or never use it. This is the Necronomicon Tarot. And so here's just a few samples from the major arcana. Here's the Chariot. I would never get on that Chariot, that is for sure. And here's the Fool. He just looks gross. And all of the kind of figures that are dancing in his kind of music vibrations. They're all missing limbs, like their arms and legs are cut off. And then here's the Empress. Like, look at her. Sorry, my hands are a bit shaky. But here she is. She's got like 6 breasts and she's marching through this army of like devil babies. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Question number 6. Funny cards. Which cards characters make you laugh or smile every time you see them? Well, I had to pick a card from the Happy Tarot because the entire deck just makes me smile and giggle. Here is the 3 of Cups from the Happy Tarot. So you get these 3 little children just kind of giggling, and I love the sound of kids laughing. There's nothing happier. I also chose the Queen of Laughter from the Heart of Fairy Oracle. She just looks so happy. You just want to laugh with her. And this one from the Fairies Oracle, the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. I don't know if you can see her face. I'm gonna hope my camera wants to. Oh, we had it. There we go. Yeah, she's just kind of smiling, being a little bit flirty. She just looks like she's enjoying it. Everyone around her is like, just looks happy. Like, she just radiates joy that spreads everywhere she goes. So the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. And then this guy, this again is from the Justice League Tarot, and it's Plastic Man in the 9 of Cups, and he just looks like such a ham with his sack of treasures, his little pinky up and his sunglasses, and he just looks like some comic relief in the Justice League, and he makes me laugh. Question 7. The divine, feminine, and masculine. Show us the characters who depict the divine, feminine, and the divine masculine the best for you. Okay, so I picked quite a few here because I felt like there's just so many facets of divine feminine and divine masculine. So I tried to narrow it down, but it was really hard. So I'll start with her. This is the 6 of Water from Dreams of Gaia, and I thought she represented kind of the maiden aspect of the divine feminine. So she just looks she's very young, she's very beautiful, like you almost get kind of mesmerized by her beauty. Not a sexual attraction, but just like, but you still feel like in awe of her beauty and her presence, and that she has this ability to kind of heal and help, and it's all very innocent and pure and very almost enchanting and magical. So I picked her. Even though there is a maiden card in this deck, I just felt like, to me, she was more divine. From the Fairies Oracle, the Bright Mother, there she is, kind of just checking in on all of her people and her babies and her wards, I guess. And you got the moon there as the symbol of the crescent moon. But yeah, she's just looking out for everybody, making sure everyone is cared for and has everything they need and everyone's getting along. The Shadowscapes Tarot, here is the Empress, just embodying that abundance and creativity. Anyway, it's also that kind of nature, Mother Nature-y, and I love this image. It's very pretty. But there's other aspects of the goddess, and I chose, here's Arianrhod from the Fairy Enchantments Oracle. I've kind of been thinking a lot about Arianrhod lately and her story, and how she's not a triple goddess, she's just herself, but she sort of embodies all 3. Not only is she a virgin goddess, or she values her virtue and her purity, she's very proud of that fact. She was also tricked by her male kin and did have children, but denied them because she felt like it was not her choice, this was not what she wanted, she didn't even understand how it even happened, and so she just left her brothers and uncles to look after those offspring. But then you can see that she also has the gray hair, and it is her job in the Celtic myth to escort the souls of the dead to her fortress where they await incarnation. And so while she's doing that, she transforms into an owl and comforts the dead and supports them and guides them to where they need to be until they can come back to a life on Earth. So I feel like she kind of embodies all stages of womanhood kind of in one. And then here I also picked, here's the fairy godmother, more of the crone, and here is the dark lady. Both of these cards are from Fairy's Oracle again, and I just felt like she, the dark lady, represented more of the dark side of the divine feminine, kind of that temptress, seductress. Also, she is kind of post-death, during transition and darkness. She kind of guides people through that transition, through death, and back into birth again. So there she is, the dark lady. Now let's look at divine masculine. Again, I think I had 4 or 5 cards, yes. We'll start with Solus, who is from the Fairies Oracle. I know I have a lot of Fairies Oracle, but he is the embodiment of the sun god. He radiates strength and life, and this card means that he empowers, you know, there is divine intervention, divine blessing, and divine help in whatever the reading is about, and that it's saying, yes, go forward, that there are entities out there aiding, guiding, helping, opening doors. However, it's still up to you to make the necessary steps to accept the opportunities that are being offered. And then of course himself, so he represents more of the he's got a more sexual energy, so the virility, the strength. He is the kind of seed of life, so the divine feminine is the bringer of life, but he is like the spark that gets it all started, that lights the life in the very beginning. And so he represents strength, virility, provision, and protection. He also provides, he strengthens or empowers or gives things more life for whatever the reading might be about. If he shows up, it just makes it even more strong and more powerful. That's what his presence represents in a reading. And from the Heart of Fairy, I chose the Green Man. Again, it's that fertility, kind of the everlasting life, the Oak King and the Holly King. And of course, I chose the Emperor from Shadowscapes. He just looks, you know, he's that kind of father figure, the one who oversees everything, makes sure everything's running, that people are following the rules, that everyone's working hard, doing as they should. Nobody's getting anything for free, nobody's stealing or sneaking around. He's the enforcer, he's the law, he is protection and provision as well. And lastly, I felt like the King of Swords has always been very godly to me. He very much reminds me of Odin with the 2 ravens, and that he's on this quest for knowledge. Like, you can see him kind of very pensive there, taking it all in, thinking about, you know, his next move. Where's he going to go? He sends his raven scouts. I think, what are they? Hunin and Munin, I think they're called. Memory and thought, I think they translate to. And then the owl, which is the wisdom. So he's got a very Odin-esque feel to me. I always associate him with Odin and Odin's quest for knowledge. He's still got both eyes though, so he's more probably a younger version of Odin. Odin only had one eye because he carved it out and sacrificed it and hung himself from a tree for like 3 days, I think, in exchange for knowledge. That's how badly he wanted to know things, that he was willing to suffer and self-mutilate in order to get it. Question number 8, friendship. Who would you pick to be your friend? Okay, so this is kind of cheating because I have the Shadowhunters Tarot, And these are a couple of my favorite characters. So yes, I would want to be friends with Simon Lewis and Tessa Gray, the Daylighter. So Daylighter would be like the Sun card in a regular tarot deck. And Tessa Gray, oh, she must be the Star, the Masked. So yes, I would like to be friends with these characters. I also kind of liked the High Priestess from the Steampunk Tarot. She just looks super fun. Like, not only does she have a lot of knowledge, but she looks a little spunky, and like she knows how to have a good time, and that she's like full of joy and laughter, and like she's got this good entertainment thing going on as well. She's a bit of a good showman, as well as someone with a lot of intelligence and knowledge. So I thought she would be a good friend to have around. Also, of course, the collective of pixies would make amazing friends because they are little worker bees. They just like to get things done, and they love to have fun while they do it. So they make any chore a little more fun, and they're super helpful. And who wouldn't want a collective of pixies hanging around all the time? Number 9, compassion. Who would you help without hesitation? Every time I see this card, the 9 of Swords from the Happy Tarot, I just want to hug her. She just looks so scared and afraid of her own thoughts and nightmares. I just want to tell her, it's not real, it's not real. It was just a dream. This guy too, he just makes me go, oh, poor Indy. So this is Indy from the Fairies Oracle, and Indy is short for indecisions. This guy struggles with making decisions, and so I just want to help him. Just want to help him sort it out and help him decide and commit to something. And this card also elicits a lot of compassion every time I see it. The poor little swan stuck in the thorny vines, tangled among all of these swords, like just panicking and shrieking for help. And the little hummingbird up there is like that beacon of help who's gonna come keep the swan calm and tell her it'll be okay, and don't worry, help is coming, we're gonna get you out of there. So yeah, I always feel a lot of compassion for that swan, that just stay calm, you can get out of this mess. We're almost done. 2 more questions. Home, show us your perfect home using cards and create a scene out of the cards you've picked. Okay. So I picked, first of all, 3 cards from the Shadowscapes Tarot. I have the 2 of Pentacles. So this to me is about work and play and having fun and keeping busy and having that sense of purpose and harmony and balance. And here is the 6 of Cups, which is children, and again a little bit of play, imagination, creativity, making memories. And I just love this forest scene of the little tea party with all the stuffed animals and the little brook with all the koi swimming. And lastly, the 2 of Cups for love, and just so that there's love in the home. And I just love these 3 cards together, just are perfect. And then kind of like to top it off, I also added the 10 of Autumn from the Fairies Tarot by Doreen Virtue. And it's just the scene of abundance and happiness and family togetherness up in their little tree house. And it just, I don't know, that would be the perfect home for me. Okay, last question. Message. If you could spread your message through 1 card, what would it be? And this one was easy. This was the easiest one for me. This is probably my most favorite card, and it is the Lost Gunna from the Fairies Oracle. And here she is, this beautiful fairy with her abnormal froggy legs, and that's because she likes to swim in the murky waters where most people fear to tread. So part of her message goes back to that saying, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek. And it's the same message. It's like, The dirty waters you fear to swim in hold the treasures you seek. She knows that at the bottom of the pond are amazing artifacts and things that people have long forgotten. And she's not afraid to get dirty. She's not afraid to swim in those scary, dark, dirty waters. So this is a card about trying new things, about getting out of your comfort zone, taking risk, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But I think my most favorite phrase that's associated with this card is, it's more fun to jump than it is to be pushed. I love that phrase because it means there are times when it's better for us to take control and take the reins and take the risk ourselves so that we can feel 100% about taking the credit for those rewards and treasures that we do find as a result, that thrill of succeeding or just even experiencing. Versus someone who pushes us and forces us into an uncomfortable situation, which often fosters blame and resentment, and it takes away from the experience. So if we aren't willing to take that jump ourselves, the universe sometimes has a funny way of forcing us into uncomfortable situations. So it's far better if we are in control and we can take all the credit. And enjoy the experience instead of feeling forced and feeling like things were taken from us. I love her. Oh, my favorite fairy in the whole, and probably of all of my fairy decks. She's the best. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll put the link to Empathic Tarot's video below because she was the one who started it. And if you want to participate, this is open to everyone. Tag your it, share your video in the link in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay shiny and keep sparkling. Bye.